It's not possible.
I didn't say it would be easy, Neo.
All right, now we're officially going to go ahead and call Coryell. I'm sorry, Brown County. Y'all, they do CD over in Coryell also. So this is Falls County calls number 41,921. Non-custodial party being Charles L. Simpson, custodial party being Adriana M. Castillo. And the court will know for the record that Ms. Stacy Johnson is representing Mr. Simpson as counsel. Ms. Castillo is pro se. The state is present. And this matters before the court on a acknowledgement fraternity. Looks like it has an AOP in it, fraternity cause of action. Anyway, at this time, the court will note that both parties were served back in March, so both parties are properly before the court in conformity with the Texas Rules of Civil Procedure. So at this time, I'll ask the state for an opening to tell the court what the state's requesting we do here today, since it's their case, and what the state understands the agreements and contests to be, and then I'll allow Ms. Johnson to make an opening statement on behalf of her client. I'm sorry, Ms. Castillo, I don't let pro se litigants make opening statements. All I want to do is find out what's the issue so the court knows where this hearing is going or this case is going. But at the end of the hearing, if you wish to make a formal closing statement, you'll be allowed to do so, ma'am. But at this time, I'll allow Ms. Overstreet and Ms. Johnson to tell the court what we're looking at here today. Thank you.
Your Honor, this is a non-agreed CSRP. Both of the children, the parties signed acknowledgement of paternities for both of these children, and those are attached to the child support review order that was submitted. The parties have a partial agreement. They agree they'll be joint managing conservators, that Ms. Castillo will have the right to determine where the children live. The initial order said there was no restriction to that, but they have agreed that she will live in either Falls County or contiguous counties to Falls. The initial order had a modified visitation. Proposed order had a modified visitation that had, I believe, eight visits at each one of the phases. The parties have now agreed that there will be 4 visits at each one of the stages, but the stages will stay the same. They have agreed child support based on Mr. Simpson's wages for 2 children, and he has 1 other child, is $549 a month, and with a drop down of $427. And I believe, let me see when in that order, I forgot to look. That was supposed to start April 2024 in the proposed order. Now, I believe that's everything that's, and then the parties have agreed that there will be reasonable electronic communication for each of the parties when they're not in possession of the child. I believe that's
one child. I'm sorry.
I mean the children. Like, say if it's his visitation, Mr. Simpson's visitation, then Ms. Castillo will be able to contact the children through electronic communication. If it's her, if he doesn't have visitation, the children are just at home, then he'll have that right as well. And I believe that's everything that is agreed to. The contested issues are the amount of retroactive support, and whether or not Mr. Simpson, who I believe at the time of the CSRP, he did not have insurance available for the children. So it was ordered that she would carry it and he would reimburse, but now he does have health insurance available, and for the children, and he's asking that the court order him to carry the health insurance, and dental insurance, as opposed to Ms. Castillo carrying it and him reimbursing her.
All right, then. All right.
I believe.
I'm sorry, Ms. Overstreet, is she on private or government insurance?
I believe she was on private.
All right.
Let me look. I could be wrong, but I don't. I think she was on her own. Yes, she was providing it.
All right. Thank you. All right, Ms. Johnson.
Yes, Your Honor. I'll just start discussing the health and dental insurance first, since that's where Ms. Overstreet left off. Certainly, the children need to be covered under dental and health. I believe the figures that the court came up with, or the state came up with for those provided by Ms. Castillo through her work, are 159 for medical and 26 for dental, making it a total of 185. It's my understanding that she likes the plan that she has currently through her employer. Our issue with that is not that we care if the child stays on that, but is charging Mr. Simpson for it when his employer offers medical and dental at $48. They have a very low cost plan through Cigna, and it's $137 difference. So we would simply ask that if she continues to carry, that he only be responsible for $48 of that, otherwise place them on his plan. In terms of the retroactive child support, she has asked for 2 years, which on its face is a reasonable amount of retroactive support. The issue that we have is he has made several payments to her. Now, certainly, some of those have been for things like birthday parties or toys, and those don't fall under the auspices of the kind of support the court is looking for. However, and because of that, there may be some retroactive support still ordered, and we're aware of that. However, we think that he should get some credit for the payments that, number one, we can prove he made, or two, that Ms. Castillo is willing to say that he made. I know he's paid some payments through a system that has a record. We will be providing that to the court. And I think that's pretty much all we're going to be discussing today, Judge.
All right. Thank you very much. I'll let Ms. Castillo know it's the court's policy, and I think it's, all court's policy. Ma'am, health insurance is part of child support. And so long as the person who's paying child support has a reliable health insurance, then the court puts that on them to do it. It's their obligation. If they got the health insurance, it's their health insurance. So unless there is a reason, and I've had people come and testify that the other person's health insurance doesn't work well at their providers, that the children have special needs that are special medical needs that the insurance may not be appropriate. But again, unless you can sew something along those lines, ma'am, then I will probably be looking at naming him as part of this child support obligation as the person who's obligated to maintain the health insurance. You can obviously have your own, but again, ma'am, it's child support. So again, that falls under child support. And as far as the other item dealing with the retro, we'll just get the testimony of everybody, and we'll see what's there, and see what can be taken, what would be counted as child support and what would not be. But at this point, I'm gonna go ahead and swear both you and him in, and let's get some testimony, and I'll let the lawyers examine both of you as far as testimony is concerned. And at the end of the hearing, ma'am, if there's anything else you think I need to know that didn't come out in your general testimony because you're representing yourself, I'll allow you to testify in a narrative, so long as it's relevant to what we're discussing here today, ma'am. Either the like I said, the retro or the health insurance. So at this time, I'll go ahead and ask both parties to raise your right hands, please. All right, do you both solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you can give this court today is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth will help you?
Yes, sir.
All right, you're both officially under oath, and I'm gonna go ahead and let the state call you as witnesses at this time, and obviously Ms. Johnson will have the opportunity to cross-examine. You may proceed at this time, Ms. Overstreet. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Is there a particular reason you want to keep the children on your health insurance as opposed to moving it to Mr. Simpson's health insurance?
So as you can tell, he does not have a steady job. He moves around. I have been at my job. October will be 6 years. My oldest son has asthma and a heart condition, and my insurance pays it. And he gets a monitor every year for 3 days. My insurance pays for that monitor every year. That's the only reason I want my oldest son to have my insurance.
Okay. Well, For right now, would you be opposed to you keeping the child on your insurance and
Whether if he carries them or not, my kids are on my insurance. I'm keeping them because of that.
okay, well, let me finish my question. And then instead of him reimbursing you the $159 a month, reimburse you $48 a month for that, since you're gonna keep them on there anyway?
He can reimburse me what the paper said the first time, the 159.
Okay, but knowing that he has it available for $48 and that the judge, like he explained, the law says if he has it available, unless there's good cause, then, the judge should order that Mr. Simpson carry it, not you. Would you prefer rather than him order him to carry it and then you keep him on there for the whole 159 and not get reimbursed anything? Would you prefer to be reimbursed at least $48 and order you to continue to keep the children on the insurance?
That's fine because I'm leaving my kids on my insurance.
Okay. Now you're asking for, and then that would have been back in April, you were asking for 2 years of retroactive child support, correct?
Yes.
And that would include for both of them. During that 2 years time frame, which was from, I think, April 22 to March 24, did you and Mr. Simpson ever live together?
Nope.
Okay. As far as you know, was Mr. Simpson ever incarcerated during that time frame?
Nope.
Did Mr. Simpson ever give you any cash in support of the children?
He gave me $1,800.
$1,800?
Yep.
Okay.
And 700 of that went to DeAndre, the baby's dental work.
Okay.
And then this year, I think it was in January, they only gave me $300 in cash.
And is that on top of the
I'm sorry, ma'am.
1,800?
I'm sorry, slow down just a second. All right, ma'am, the $1,800 you testified initially, is that,
That was just last year. I'm sorry.
Okay.
That was last year. But this year,
All right,
so you
okay.
can add the 300 to the 18.
Okay, all right, thank you. 18 last year, 300 more this year. And what was the last thing you testified to, ma'am?
I just told her that out of that 18, 700 of it went to
Right,
DeAndre.
I heard that, but that still counts, so as long as she, okay. But you were saying that in 300 this year so far.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you could just put it with that 18.
Okay.
All right.
So from April 1st of 2022 through March 25th of 2024, he's given you a total of $2,100 cash?
Yes.
Okay. And anything else he gave you, do you consider that to be gifts?
Yep.
Okay. And you heard the things that I had described to the court as y'all's agreement. Is that in fact your agreement, those issues?
What? Oh, yes. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Your Honor, I pass this witness.
Ms. Johnson, your witness. You're muted, ma'am. I do the same things.
Thank you. That's okay. Ms. Castillo, Mr. Simpson has also provided shoes for your children. Is that correct?
For DeAnthony.
Okay. Has he provided clothing as well?
For DeAnthony.
Okay. And how much do you think the value of those shoes and clothing is?
The shoes are at least 200, and he only got like four shirts and maybe 5 pairs of pants. I wouldn't know where they got them from.
Okay, so you said you think maybe $300?
Sure, because like I said, I don't know where they got those pants and shirts from, but the shoes were no more than 200.
Okay. And what about school supplies? Has he purchased any school supplies for the kids?
No, school supply is free from the school.
Okay. Has there been any other contributions that he's made to the children in terms of their necessities or anything like that?
No.
Okay.
Just with the help of D'Anthony, I have not got nothing for DeAndre.
Now, when he gives you money, though, he doesn't specify which child it goes to, does he?
He hasn't bought anything. He's buying it for the other one. That's why I told you gifts are appearing and the gifts are for my other child.
Okay.
Like my D'Anthony came home with a new pair of shoes and I have another baby. Where's his stuff at?
Okay. Have you asked Mr. Simpson for any additional support?
I have asked him to pay for daycare starting last year. I haven't seen that. I have asked him for help. I haven't seen that. I've been doing it myself.
Okay. So Mr. Simpson's mother also provides you payments for Mr. Simpson. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And is that included in the $2,100 that you just told the court about?
The last year.
Okay.
Because she's the one that gave me that 700.
Okay. But Mr. Simpson also sends you payments through an app. Is that right?
He did through Cash App.
Okay. And if I were to tell you the payments for the last 2 years, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was trying to look for that.
Okay.
Because it's coming through his brothers.
Okay. But he also sent some directly to you as well. Is that right?
No, the only thing that he sent me anything is through his brothers.
Okay. And you agree with me that his brother's name is not Charles. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. How much has he sent you through his brother?
I'm trying to see it now.
Okay.
It won't let me pull it up all at once. Hold on. So there was 400 sent on October of 23. And then there was 205 sent on December 6, 22.
Okay. And is there a way I can show her my exhibit?
He's,
You can share it. Do you know how to do that? Share screen?
Let me see. Let me pull it up and then I'll share my
well,
screen.
okay, I'll make you a co-host in a second. All right, you should be able to do it now.
Okay. I'm going to show you Miss Castillo as soon as I get it pulled up here. What I'm going to ask the court to mark as our exhibit number 1. And let me share my screen with you here. Okay. Can you see the Cash App things on your screen?
I see his.
Okay. And when you look at that, can you tell, and I guess I already said this, but is that from the Cash App that you mentioned earlier?
No, the one I have is from, hold on, let me go to November. The one I have is, like I said, it's only from his brother, and that's DeMarcus.
Okay.
But I'm gonna go, hold on, I'm gonna go to 22 to see if I got one from that one, okay?
Okay.
November. I don't have one from him. And
Okay.
pause, never mind. Because they changed it on his brother's thing, because I do have on November 12, 22, it's under DeMarcus Simpson. They went and changed his brother's stuff to his name.
Okay.
And if
So-
you want, I'll screenshot my stuff to you.
Okay, well, and I believe you, but you would agree with me that on November 12th, 2022, you
Yeah,
received
but
it.
it came from his brother, so they are lying to you on that. They changed his brother's thing.
Ma'am, do not make comments about someone telling the truth and not telling the truth, okay? Just listen to the question, answer the question, and stop. Thank you.
Okay, so on November 12th, 2022, you received a $200 payment through a Cash App.
From DeMarcus Simpson.
Okay. Would you also agree with me that on December 6th, you received a payment?
December 6th of what?
2022.
That was at 2:05 from DeMarcus. They changed his name.
Okay, and I tell you what, I'm going to stop sharing my screen and I'm just going to ask you if these are accurate or not.
Because I'm telling you, I'm reading it right here. It's all on DeMarcus thing, and the one that you just showed me, the 200, it did come from DeMarcus, and then that 2:05 on December 6th was DeMarcus.
Okay, so what about, you mentioned earlier in October you received
October.
$400.
October
Okay.
the 23, I did, and that was from his brothers.
Okay,
And that was the last one I got on that Cash App.
all right, ma'am. What about September 19th of 2022?
What was September 19th on what?
Did you
Cash App?
receive $50? Yes, ma'am.
December of 22? 23. 22. What'd you say? 23 or 22?
22.
22 December. December of 22. Hold on, cause it's still. The 2:05 was December 6, 22. On February 1st of 23
Okay, do you have a $40 payment that day?
from DeMarcus.
Okay. And then did we also ask about, I believe there's just one more that I have here.
That 400 one.
Well, I was going to ask about September 19th of 2022.
No, I don't have anything from September on the Cash App.
Yes, ma'am.
No, I don't have anything from
Okay.
22 September.
Okay, so in addition to the cash payments you mentioned earlier of $2,100, you also agreed that around $500 was spent on shoes and clothing. And then based on this Cash App, the 4 payments you talked about,
Which was 400.
$845. Does that sound about right?
So it was the 400, the 40, the 2:05, and what was the other one?
200.
Okay, yeah.
Okay. Are there any other ways that he would pay you? Because you mentioned the Cash App through his brother, you mentioned cash from his mom, and cash from him, as well as some purchases. Is there anything else?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Do you have an issue with him receiving credit for, and I'm going to add that up here. Do you have issue with him getting credit for that $3,445?
How do you get 3,000?
The $2,100 payments that you mentioned,
Mm-hmm.
plus the $500 in clothing and shoes.
Oh, you added the other thing. That's fine. I didn't add the 500. Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
So what was that? What was that total?
$3,445. Okay. I don't have any further questions for this witness, Judge.
All right. Anything on redirect this over?
No, Your Honor. No, Your
All
Honor.
right. Call your next witness, please.
Um,
I'd like to call Mr. Simpson. Mr. Simpson, did you agree to all of the agreements that we had reached? That I stated into the record? Is all of that agreed to?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, how long have you been working at your current job?
This job I've been here since before it was November. In the middle of November, I started this job.
Okay. And have you already put your child on the insurance?
No, ma'am, when we first started talking about it, she made like a big deal because he had a problem with his heart or whatever, and I had got all how much it's gonna be and all that, so I can put them on. They waiting on me to tell them if I need them to put them on my insurance. I want to make sure first today before I let her know anything.
Okay. Now, do you have any other children besides this child?
I just got one other one.
And how old is that child?
He's 3.
Okay. Now, does that child currently have insurance?
Yes, ma'am.
And how is that child covered?
Should be full coverage.
Now, how is the child covered for insurance? Like what type of insurance?
He's under his mama's insurance.
Okay. Are you currently ordered to reimburse her for any insurance?
No, ma'am.
Are you currently ordered to provide child support for that child?
No, ma'am. We stay together.
Okay. So that child lives with you,
Yes, ma'am.
correct? Okay. And I'm sorry, Judge, I'm actually trying to tell, I have somebody that I may need to testify to his wages during the time frame of that Retro is asked for, but she doesn't know how to get on, so I'm typing to her at the same time, so I apologize.
No problem.
I'm trying to send her the link. I don't know if she's ever been on Zoom before. Now, if the judge were to decide that Miss Castillo would continue to cover the insurance because she's been covering the children, I guess, since they were born, do you have a problem with him ordering you to reimburse her at least the $48?
I mean, I don't mind at all, man.
Okay. Now, sorry, they're still having trouble getting on. Now, I guess since the child DeAndre was born, how many different employers have you had?
Just one.
Okay, and then so your testimony is you've only had one employer since September of
What jobs?
2021?
Jobs two.
Two jobs?
Two. Yes, ma'am.
And who were you employed with?
I was Silica Sand in San Antonio, Superior Silica Sand, and then I came back home, and I was in Kasi at the mine, the Kasi mine.
Okay. How many different jobs have you had since DeAnthony was born?
Just West Texas. Just met four. I've been man. I go to West Texas just to get money so I can provide for my kids, and I come back home. But I've been messing with cows all my life. That's all I ever known, and that's all I've been doing. But I just do some months, take care of my kids, and come back and just ranch. That's all I did my whole life.
Okay. Well, and the reason I'm asking is Ms. Castillo said that she wants the insurance on her to keep the kids on her insurance, and you reimburse her fully because you change jobs often. So that's why I'm asking how many times you've changed jobs since the kids were born.
Ma'am, this job I'm at Thick Pen Livestock. Before I worked there 6 years, and I went back. I mean, it ain't no. I mean, I stayed like cows, and that's all I know. I was there 6 years, and I left, make some extra money for my kids, and they let me come back because they understand that I had a kid on the way, and I wanted to go make some extra money. And now, I mean, they pay a little more than what they were paying back in the day, and I mean, I don't plan on going nowhere.
Okay. So, um, so you think you're going to stay here at this Thick Pen for a while?
Oh yes, ma'am. I ain't leaving.
Okay. And so what do you do for them?
I just for like processed cattle, like work them.
Okay. And how much do you make an hour there?
Well, I'm on just a set rate.
Okay. When did you start back there?
Right before Christmas. It was in November.
In November? Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Cause they had. Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay. Go
They
ahead.
had a layoff at the mine, and that's when I went back there. That's the only reason I left the mine, cause they had a layoff.
Okay. So you were working at so how much do you make an hour?
If I was guessing, probably $16, but I'm on salary.
Okay, what's your salary?
It's 11 every 2 weeks.
Okay. And for purposes of calculating the retroactive child support, if I went back to April 2022, would you be able to tell me how much you made each quarter at each of the jobs that you were working at?
Oh man.
Okay. Would you be able to even tell me where all you worked?
I know yes, ma'am.
Okay. Can you tell me where all you worked?
This how keep asking the same
It was just
Miss Bateman, I think that you are
it
you need to mute yourself because we can hear you. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. I'm sorry. Go ahead, sir.
for the last 2 years. Well,
Do not say anything. Keep muted. Thank you, ma'am.
Yes, Mr. Simpson. Sorry, I got distracted. Since April of 2022, can you tell me every place that you worked and how much you worked at each of those places?
San Antonio, the Superior Silica Sand, 20, and I know the Kasi Mine was, and I think the last one before the Superior Silica Sand, I was at Justice Homes in Waco.
Okay. Can you tell me how much you were making there?
It was maybe $18 at Justice Homes.
Okay. And when did you work there?
that was before I went to San Antonio, so it had to been 22.
Okay. And then were you working 40 hours a week?
Yes, ma'am.
And then you went to work at Copy Mine, you said?
Well, after the Justin Holmes, I went to Superior Silica Sand in San Antonio.
And how much were you making there?
I was making 22. I was an operator.
Okay. And were you working 40 hours a week?
Yes, ma'am.
And then how long did you work there?
I worked there from December to September.
So 9 months?
Yes, ma'am.
And then when did you go to work for Copy Mine?
Copy Mine. After I left from San Antonio, I went there. Well, I mean, I wasn't there that long, but they had a layoff.
Okay, well, how many months were you there?
Maybe 4, 5 at the most.
And how much were you making there?
$20.
And were you working 40 hours?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And then when you left there, is that when you
Yes, ma'am.
back
The cab.
to
The cabs. Yes, ma'am.
to Thigpen? Okay.
Yes,
And you
ma'am.
said that was in November?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And well, I'll let your attorney ask you about the payments that you've made. I have nothing further to this witness, Your Honor.
All right, Ms. Simpson, your witness.
All right, Mr. Simpson,
Ma'am.
the payments, that's okay, that's
I was
okay.
looking at the last name at the bottom. Sound right?
I've been called worse. All right, Mr. Simpson. Would you agree with the payments that Ms. Castillo has attributed to you for the past 2 years?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Do you believe that you've paid more than that?
Yes, ma'am, but I ain't got proof, so
Okay, so let's talk about it a little bit. When you say you don't have proof, what type of payments were you making?
it was cash.
Okay. Was the cash provided directly from you to her?
No, ma'am. I was working, but I had my mom give it to her grandma because she was at work, and they give it to her.
Okay. How frequently would you give her cash payments through your mother?
Maybe every 2 months I would give her $400.
Okay. So if we're talking for a 2-year time frame, would any of those, let me back up. I'm trying to ask too many questions at once. Of that 400 cash that you say you made every 2 months, does that include the money that we already talked about, or is that in addition to?
Nah, that would have been a Disney. I know I gave more than what she was saying I gave because I didn't send plenty of money to her grandma, them over there.
Okay, and you mentioned her grandmother. Why would you send it to her grandmother?
She was at work, and we was talking, and she tell me to take it to her grandma, and she'll get it from her.
And where does Miss Castillo live with her grandmother?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so that would be a reason that you would provide the money to grandma.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Did it ever occur to you when you were making those payments that you should have kept some kind of receipt or record of withdrawals or anything like that?
No, ma'am. I didn't know that it was gonna go this far like how it is. Cause we was cool and all till about maybe 3 months ago, and everything just changed. And
Okay.
now we here.
So would you say that prior to this, let's just use the 2-year mark. Prior to the last 2 years, did you get along relatively well with Ms. Castillo?
Yes, man. We was talking every day.
Okay. And in fact, Ms. Castillo, does she ever allow you to see the children?
She would, like, if I'm at work or whatever, like, bring them to me and see them and everything. I mean, we didn't really have no big problem. If
Okay.
they call when, I mean, she'll bring them to me and I see them.
Okay. Have you been present for holidays with the kids?
I mean, yes, man, I go over there. I couldn't take them nowhere, but I go sit over there with them.
Okay. So in your mind, have you tried as best you can, given that you're not with Ms. Castillo, to be involved and supportive of the kids?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And you don't have any issue with whether you're the father of either one of the children. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. If Ms. Castillo has the impression that you do more with the older son, do you think there's a reason that she might feel that way?
Man, only way she would feel that way because he got a phone and he called me and we talked, but the other one, like I said, about 3 months ago, he ain't had no problem. He'll come up to me wherever I'm at, give me a hug, I kiss him. But now he's scared to look at me. It wasn't never like that.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know what happened, or I mean, he just automatically scared of me all of a sudden.
Okay, but even in spite of that, is there any reason that you wouldn't want to support him or provide things for him if you needed them?
No, ma'am. No, ma'am.
Okay. And you don't have any issue paying child support based upon your salary, do you?
No, ma'am.
Okay. In fact, would you say that you understand you might owe some retroactive child support?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and you're willing to accept that as well?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And in terms of the health care, you're willing to either provide health care through your employer or reimburse Ms. Castillo the $48 that you would be paying for that. Is that fair?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. How much do you think you should be credited in either monetary or gifts in the form of necessities like clothing and shoes for the past 2 years? How much do you think would be fair based on what you feel that you've paid?
What on everything or Miss Stacy? Hello?
Yes, yes, sir.
Oh, I ain't hear the ending part.
Okay, so let me start this way. In the course of the past 2 years, have you purchased a lot of toys for your kids?
Yes, ma'am.
Does that include things like bicycles and electric motorbike type things?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and so, but you understand that that doesn't go towards the child support amount. Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
So if this court were, do you think that the $3,445 that she's come up with is a fair amount for you to be credited for child support, or do you think it should be more?
Me personally, I think it could be a little more.
Okay. But you also understand that, if we can't prove it, we can't
Yes,
prove
yes,
it.
ma'am. Yes,
right.
ma'am.
Is there anything else you think the court needs to know today before making its decision?
I just got. I know we first started doing this, and he been coming with me, and I thought I supposed to been getting maybe like a copy of his, I guess the insurance or whatever. So if he gets sick or something, I can take him to a doctor. I mean, I still haven't got nothing, and I mean, he been coming with me. If something happened, I would have to pay out of pocket because I mean, I ain't never got nothing from
Okay, so
her.
you would, Mr. Simpson, you would like the court to make sure that you get provided a copy of whatever insurance the court
What?
decides that the children should have.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and obviously, if you're the one that's ordered to provide the insurance, you'll be happy to give a copy of that to Ms. Castillo, correct?
Oh, yes, ma'am. I wouldn't have no problem.
Okay.
Excuse me.
One last area of questioning, and then I'll turn it back to the court. But in 2023, near the end of the year, did something happen where you began getting the children more frequently?
But she would let them come on the weekends.
Okay, what happened that made her allow them to come see you more often?
Man,
Did she have a
I
car
guess-
wreck?
yeah, she had a little accident, and she let them come. They were coming every weekend, both of them.
Okay.
And my mom, because I had to work, she was taking him to his basketball game in Robinson, and she came. The youngest baby, he'll cry a little bit because he wanted to go, but after she left, he was good. The rest of the time till we took him back Sunday. I mean, he
Okay.
probably cried maybe
Maybe it
2 or
was-
3 minutes.
Okay, but so you watched the children significantly more at the end of 2023 than you had in the past.
Yes, man.
Was that exclusive to the weekends, or was that also during the week?
I mean, if they was out of school, they wanted to come with me. So, but if they had school, they'll stay. But like Friday afternoon, they'll come over and we'll take them back Sunday.
Okay. All right. I believe that's all I have, Judge.
All right, thank you very much. Anything on redirect, Ms. Overstreet?
No, Your Honor.
All right.
Your Honor,
All right.
I do have one clarification I need to make actually, that I didn't make. So when we were talking about the retroactive was in dispute, I forgot to clarify, y'all are just in dispute of how much credit he's going to get towards what was
Oh.
the amount that was already in the order, correct?
That's correct.
Okay,
Okay.
then I won't need Miss Hallowell, because if they're not disputing the
Okay,
total
all right.
amount and just the credit, then I don't need Miss Hallowell. Thank you, Stephanie. I
All right.
appreciate you.
All right, thank you. All right, Mr. Simpson, I got a couple of follow-up questions. You said you were originally with the company you work with right now for about 6 years before you went off to San Antonio and the mines and the other third job I got listed here. So you were at this same place for about 6 years, sir?
Yes, before, like, as soon as I graduated high school, I started there when I was 15.
Okay. And sir, now that you're back and you say right now, have they started providing you health insurance?
Yes, sir.
All right. And does that cost you anything?
No, sir.
All right then. So, and right now you say you only have one other child, and that child's on
His mom.
his insurance, okay? And she has private
Yes.
insurance?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And you said to go ahead and add, well, obviously, they don't care how many dependents you have, the insurance company, as long as you got one, it's the same price usually. So if you're going to go add this child, you're going to go start getting health insurance for this child, what was the amount again you're going to be have to pay? You said it's $48 a month?
Well, it's 48 each paycheck. I get paid every 2 weeks, so each check is $48. So
Okay, so it's really close to about $100 a month then, right?
yeah, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, all right, that's what I was trying to figure out. All right, because I was hearing some things. I said he gets paid twice, maybe I'm not sure. So I got it. So thank you.
Yes,
Thank you,
sir.
Judge, and I apologize if I misrepresented that to the court. That was my misunderstanding.
Yeah, really, I was getting the same thing there for a while. Then finally, I heard he get paid every 2 weeks. So because I heard salary, so that's once a month. That's what the state of Texas pays me. So yeah, but he gets it every 2 weeks. Got it. So all right then. So sir, again, since it's not 48, it's close to 100, and they'll give you the right amount in a minute. So if I was to order you to pay that cash medical amount to her directly and make sure the child still has the continuing insurance, you would have no problem with that, correct, sir?
No, sir.
All right, good enough then. All right, then. So Ms. Castillo, that's what I'll be looking at. Now have the state do the math on 48 for every 2 weeks for a year, and then average it out for a month. So I'm gonna go ahead and listen to closing statements at this time. And I'll listen. Given the Ms. Overstreet, have you been able to do the math on what the difference would be based on the amounts that the fathers testified to, not giving him credit for anything that he can't show by in writing or anything like that?
Okay, I believe that was the total 3,445, Stacy and Miss Castillo. Is that the total
Yes, ma'am.
that he had proof of? Okay,
Yes, ma'am.
then just give me just a second, Judge. It would be, that would leave $10,210 in retro after that credit.
All right. Now, I do have a question, Ms. Castillo. Ms. Castillo, have you ever received cash, to the best of your recollection, have you ever received cash funds that were given to you by your grandmother that were payments that they gave her to give to you, ma'am?
It was a part of that 21.
Okay.
Because like I said, they did get 300 this year.
Okay. All right, then. All right, then, folks. Let me go ahead and hear closing statements at this time and closing arguments. And again, obviously, I'll start with you on this one, Ms. Johnson, then go to Ms. Castillo and see if she has anything in addition she wants to tell the court under oath. And then I'll let Ms. Overstreet go ahead and make the final statement. Thank you.
Okay, Judge. I think just starting with the health insurance and dental insurance, we certainly have no problem with Ms. Castillo keeping the kids under her preferred form of insurance, given the circumstances that her children have particular issues that she feels are better controlled under her plan. We would ask that we only reimburse for the $100 that represents what Mr. Simpson would pay if he were to provide the coverage. And I think that might make Ms. Castillo feel more comfortable given how she feels his job changes frequently. But either way, we're either willing to provide that through Mr. Simpson's employer or reimburse her the $100. With regards to the retroactive child support, I think it's difficult for individuals. I think it's difficult for the court to make determinations of what has or has not been paid. People don't typically make payments with the idea that they need to keep a record of them because they're later going to be held accountable. I think you've heard testimony that Mr. Simpson tries to be involved in his children's lives to the point of purchasing shoes and clothing and providing monetary support for dental work and other things. I think that he has stepped up and tried to be as good a father as he can under the circumstances. He has asked this court specifically in the petition that we filed to make sure that he has contact with his kids. He wants to exercise more visitation. And perhaps in the past, that's either been on him or Ms. Castillo or both. Hopefully going forward, he'll be able to do that more frequently, but we do ask at a bare minimum for credit for the $3,445 that Ms. Castillo agrees to. I know my client feels like he probably has supported her in amounts much greater than that. I think it would be fair for the court to give him credit for $5,000, but I understand the court's position that if we can't prove it, it's just his word against hers. But again, he has really tried to do what he feels is right for his kids and knows that from now on, the court's going to be determining that amount. It's going to be coming out of his paycheck, and he's more than happy to comply with that. Obviously, he doesn't have a choice, but he has no issues with it. And so for once, I think you're dealing with a dad that does want to be involved, does want to help out, and is willing to do what he needs to do. So we would ask the court for that. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Johnson. Ms. Castillo, now, again, you're your own legal rep on this. Anything else under oath, ma'am, that you think I need to know or any argument you wish to make, ma'am?
No, I just want them on my insurance because of my son's health problem.
All right. Well, I'm looking at doing that, so that's not going to be a problem. All right. Thank you. All right, Ms. Overstreet.
Your Honor, as far as the retroactive child support, since there is not an agreement as to anything above what could be proved, I do believe the court probably should only give the $3,445 credit, which would be a $10,210 in retro. I did the calculations for bi-weekly and it looks like he would be paying $104 a month for the insurance. And I didn't clarify, but I think that amount covered both the health insurance and the dental. But if it's all in one cost, just have him reimburse her, the $104. I do believe it's probably in the children's best interest, especially because of the one child, that she be the one that keeps the children on, her insurance. But, and I don't have anything further.
All right, everybody. All right, again, I'm gonna go ahead and look at approving the agreement. Y'all gonna be joint management servers. Mom's gonna be the party that has the right to decide domicile. That domicile is for now is restricted to Falls and contiguous counties. I'm gonna go ahead and order the agreed to current child support amount, and I'm gonna go ahead and order that the father reimburse the mother $104 a month child support each month. Going forward, as far as the health insurance is concerned, and mom's going to be ordered to maintain that health insurance. Mr. Simpson, you and your attorney will get a copy of the order, and the order will tell you in the order how y'all need to deal with co-pays and all those items, and y'all need to go over that. And ma'am, you're going to get, obviously that'll be in the order also, and you'll have time frames that you'll have if you asking for a reimbursement or a co-pay, you have a certain amount of time to let dad know about that. Otherwise, you may forfeit that. So read that order very carefully. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to order the retroactive child support. Again, I really, he said, she says, I really always hate these. I always want to have all the information, but I do like to give some type of court likes to do some type of equity finding. Here's the deal, man. Going forward, the interest on what he owes you in back child support is $50. It's going to be $50 a month going forward. Texas throws in interest on unpaid child support. Fair or unfair, it is what it is. And based on that, ma'am, I'm going to get, and based on some conflicting testimony, instead of the 10,200, I'm going to go ahead and take it down to 9,000 even, starting as far as the retroactive child support amount is concerned. And on that, the interest is $45 a month. So I've got to order dad to make an extra $95 a month payment against the retro. 50 goes against the principal, 45 goes against the interest, and all of it goes to mom. All right. So ma'am, you're gonna get a lot more. Technically, it's gonna take dad a while to pay this out, and you'll get eventually a lot more than 10,000 and some change based on the interest you get, because this is the only thing I know of out there in the world where somebody gets interest. Because I wish I got interest every time my brother brought $1 for me. I'd be in good shape. But it is what it is. All right, folks. So
and Judge, and I forgot. I'm sorry, Judge.
A little equity that way, just because, ma'am, you're going to be getting over off the top of my head. It's going to take him somewhere between 4 and 5 years to pay this out, and obviously you're going to be getting that entire amount. So you're going to be probably, after it's all said and done, based on this original judgment, you're probably going to get closer to $14,000 than $10,000. So there. I'm going to go ahead and waive court costs. Both parties are active in their kid's life, and they're both responsible. I'm going to go ahead and it doesn't sound like I need to put them on a parenting app. Sound like they're able to communicate well enough, and as far as that's concerned. But I am going to allow both parties to work with electronic communications when the kids are not with them. How old are these kids again? I'm sorry, I don't have the birth dates down here.
8 and 2. But I have a question too.
All right. Well, okay. I'm just about finished then. What's your question then?
My oldest one has a cell phone, and I don't mind them calling and checking on them. But if they make any plans, can you make sure that goes through my phone?
I mean, what are you talking about? What kind of plans?
Like telling them they're gonna get them, and it's not their weekend. Anything that if they want to get them.
Okay. Everybody. Okay. As far as exchange and pick up and drop off of kids, Everybody got, obviously y'all can agree to anything, but if there's gonna be something that's deviated from the guideline, from the standard possession order, sir, don't tell the kids that, on the phone that, about the deviation, and let mom tell them about the deviation. But ma'am, he's allowed to tell them, hey, this is my weekend, I'm coming to
Yeah,
pick you
no,
up.
yeah, I know that. I know
Okay.
that. I just everything goes through my phone, but they're more than welcome to call his phone.
Okay, all right then, ma'am. Again, it's still a free country, so yeah, I'm not gonna go too far down that route. But obviously, as far as corresponding and making sure that I will make it part of the court order, though, that Mr. Simpson, you're to give the Ms. Castillo at least 48 hours advance notice that you are going to exercise your visitation for that week or weekend, or however you're going to do it. I don't. It sounds like it may. Your job may not be a 5-day-a-week job sometimes. Okay, so I just want to make sure that happens that way. All right. So when you're going to go
Yes,
pick
sir.
up your kids, just text her and say, "Hey, I'll be by to pick up the kids on my visitation." That way, she can have them ready to rock and roll. It's your turn. All right, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Your
Judge,
Honor,
she also
I have a
provide-
clarification. Oh, sorry.
Oh, you're okay.
I just wanted to make clarification, Judge. Since the 104 includes medical, cash medical and dental, can I just put 104 on the cash medical and 0 on the dental?
That'll be fine.
Okay, thanks. That was all I had.
All right.
Oh,
All right.
and when we do get off of Zoom, I need to make sure I have Miss Castillo's email so I can send her the order to review.
Okay. Well, you might move her back into a breakout room to get that, please. All right.
Oh, okay. I can do that.
Yeah. All right, because I don't turn Zoom off once I turn it on. 'Cause
Okay.
It doesn't like that. You know.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Well, I'll just move her into a
Alphabet stopped
breakout
there, you know. All right. They're a $1 trillion company and they want to get paid for everything. And obviously people watching my feed, it makes them a couple of dollars anyway. I don't know. Anyway, Ms. Johnson. I almost there again, Ms. Johnson. Is something else you want to add, ma'am?
I'm so sorry. It's hard to do the timing on Zoom, but I just wanted to make sure that Ms. Castillo was willing or would provide copies of the children's insurance to Mr. Simpson should some kind of emergency arise.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
all.
All right, ma'am, get an extra copy of the cards where he can have his own. And sir, if you ever lose it or something along those lines, they should be sure to tell her right away. If anything along those lines, I'm gonna have her get you a copy of something.
Yes, sir.
You know, everybody else, everything is a PDF, and you put them on cell phones, so it shouldn't be a major problem. Okay, so send the PDF of the insurance information, ma'am. All right.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
All right. All right. Anything else, then, Ms. Johnson?
That's all. Thank you so much, Judge.
And
All right, then.
I probably won't get this order out till sometime tomorrow because we still have people this morning and then we have a 1:30 this afternoon with Mr. Judge Nelson that's may take a while. So,
Okay.
but it'll probably be tomorrow.
So.
Well, one of them got
So-
reset, Judge. So,
Oh, he did? Okay, thank you.
right, when I
right, then,
realized you
thank y'all
had
very-
said 2 highly contested at 1:30, one of them got reset.
Well, I think, you know, well, one gets to go first, the other one gets to go second. Hey.
Well, one of them ended up
just like back live.
One of them ended up substituting in a new attorney who had a trial today, so it was easier
Okay.
to reset that than try to figure out if they were going to make it. Okay,
All right,
and Ms. Castillo, I'm going to invite you to a breakout room in a minute just to make sure I got your correct email. Okay,
Okay.
thanks.
All right, everybody, be careful out there. Everybody have a safe Memorial Day weekend, and think of all those who gave the ultimate for this country. All right, so thank y'all
Yes,
very
sir.
much.
Thank you.
All right. And we're off the record. Thank you.
Thank you,
Yes,
Judge.
sir.